All right, we are live. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. When's your birthday?
My birthday is March 14th, 1992.
Time?
So this is where it gets tricky. On my birth certificate, it says 2:45, but when I got it rectified, it was 2:58. So we'll go with the 2:58 a.m.
Okay. And where?
Newark, New Jersey.
How do you spell Newark?
Newark.
Okay, Newark, Jersey. Okay, 15 degrees Capricorn rising. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay, Brigette. So, I always start with the same question, which is, what is going on in your life currently?
Well, right now I'm trying to flow more in line with my purpose. So, backstory with that. Um, I have been in the international development field for all of my career. And last year, last year I got a job with USAID 1 week before Trump shut everything down. So I lost my job like 1 week into into getting my quote unquote perfect career. Um, and so now that whole thing has made me forget about the trajectory of the international development world and made me look deeper into what exactly I want to do. Because I realized that it wasn't really just international development I wanted to do, but I want to be more in tune with nature and to develop my spiritual side. And I don't know how that fits in with a career or like my purpose and how that, how I can put the pieces together pretty much.
International development. Can you say a few more words about what that is?
Yeah, so international development is, for instance, the US government will set aside a bunch of funds, let's just give it a number, $1 million to implement a program in a different country. So for instance, if they wanted to improve the education outcomes in Ghana, the US government would allot $1 million, and then an NGO or a nonprofit will go into Ghana and help improve the education system. So that's international development. And so USAID was a government body that used or appropriated the funds for different nonprofits or NGOs to go into those different countries and do whatever development project that they wanted to do to improve the outcomes of the people in that country.
Were you fired around, or did that come to a full stop around October, November of last year?
Um, so the announcement that Trump was canceling USAID came in January 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were told around March 2025 that we would no longer have our jobs.
Okay. All right. So, there's a lot going on. I'm gonna try to translate it as best as I can. Um, okay, you've been studying, so you're pretty familiar with the lingo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, where do I want to start? Okay, I'm just going to keep all the planets because in your case, they're all kind of relevant. The first thing I want to point out is that you have Uranus conjunct Neptune rising in Capricorn. Uranus and
Mm-hmm.
Neptune are both outer planets. And when they're conjunct, that is like the signal for a very big new chapter for the collective, right? Because there's those outer planetary conjunctions.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that often represents when you work at the collective level on, for different people, it's going to be different, but you're working with the government, you're working with US aid, or that was the plan before, right? So there I feel
Mm-hmm.
this conjunction that is right on your ascendant. But more importantly, like if we just remove that one and work with the other bodies, First of all, Mars conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, because Aquarius is when you work with organizations or when you work at the social level, societal level, to establish systems, to establish schools, to establish help, whatever, right? Working on teams.
Mhm.
And obviously, Saturn is about like infrastructure, where Mars is the one to initiate, make it happen. So here's where I feel like international aid and development, Mars conjunct Saturn Aquarius. And then if we take out like the Mars and Saturn, and we focus, let's say, on just the Venus Jupiter opposition. And so you
Mhm.
told me, like, well, in that case where you would have been working with USAID, there's $1 million, right? Just to use that simple number, is appropriated by the government, right? That's not money that you have directly, that's money that you're kind of working with. That for
Mhm.
me is Jupiter in the eighth house, right? Opposite Venus in the second Pisces. Also, when it's about Pisces, where you have the sun as well, that's when we talk about international, overseas, working with immigrants, working with all kinds of different people, different nationalities, different languages, right? Pisces.
Mhm.
And then, if you notice, so I'm just gonna,
Just to cut you off really quick, you're using Placidus?
I'm using Placidus.
Okay.
Is that okay for you?
Um, I just started learning with whole signs, but I can follow with Placidus as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, just, yeah, okay. All right, so January he made the announcement. You said what happened in March 25?
So March 2025 is when we found out that we're all losing our jobs.
Okay, so look, I'm at March 2025. Saturn is at 23 degrees Pisces, exactly conjunct your sun at 23 degrees Pisces in March of 25.
Mm.
All right, so that's when you find out you're losing your job and you have to do something different. You thought you were going to go there, but it's like Saturn says, no, you won't. That's not the thing you're going to do. How was it when you first got the news in March? What happened immediately thereafter?
Well, I mean, I was very distraught for a while. I had just bought or rented a new apartment in that city, and so I was just trying to figure out what I was gonna do. But yeah, I was just distraught, and we were at that point working from home because that's the only thing that we could do is just be on standby until like the final countdown in I think July is when we finally um ended our contracts. So I was just home until then.
You were just home and you had to stay there because of the rent. And which
Um
city was that?
say it one more time.
Which city?
So I live in Ghana with my family, but I rented an apartment in Accra, which is the capital of
Hmm.
Ghana. So I stayed in because there was no point of me staying in Accra, even though I had rented an apartment for a whole year.
And you had to pay for that whole year,
Yeah, upfront.
meaning that was a sunk cost.
Exactly.
Okay, there's Saturn transiting your sun in the second house. Yeah,
Mm.
and notice
Hmm.
that your sun makes an exact trine to your moon in your natal chart because they're both at 23 degrees.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this for me is, so there was the sunk cost, and the sunk cost was for the apartment, the sun and the moon.
Mm.
Does that make
Mm.
sense to you so far? Right,
Yeah.
the second house and the, okay. And you said so I guess you and your do you have with your partner
Yeah,
or your
my
family, you
husband,
said? Do you have kids as well?
I have one child.
You have a kid, okay. And so you all went to, okay, so you had the apartment in Accra, but you went to stay in Wa.
Yeah.
And how and what was the situation there?
Uh I mean it was just quiet. I was just nothing was really happening.
Like unemployment kind of,
Yeah, yeah. I was just
like family life.
unemployed. Yeah, just family life, yeah.
But also I feel like thinking about, so what's your next step, looking for what are you gonna do,
Yes.
who are you gonna
Ye-
be? This was your big plan, so what's next, right? Because I'm
Oh,
feeling that
yeah.
energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what was next? So that's when I realized that look, I need to do what I've always wanted to do, which was I wanted to bring people back to nature, culture, and themselves. So I was trying to figure out how to create like a travel abroad type of company whereby I could get people to learn more about indigenous cultures around the world. That was my goal. So I started working on that. But then I also went on 2 ayahuasca retreats during that time. I think it was September, sep- September, October, and then I went to Brazil for another ayahuasca retreat in November, and so that opened my eyes to a lot of spiritual things. And so then that's when I got back into my spirituality and going back into astrology and stuff like that. So it was a whole 180.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So for me, that period of Saturn conjunct the sun, just think about it, right? You were thinking you would do US aid, you were all geared up, you made the move that you needed to make, and then Trump made the announcement, the contracts got canceled, and you started to reconsider. So there's Saturn to the sun, right?
Yeah.
Then you decided to make an international travel company. But what interests me especially is that for you, it was about introducing other people to indigenous cultures around the world. So that for me is the Cancer Pisces, right? Indigenous traditional practice, Cancer. Pisces around the world, all different. What do the different people around the world do? Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Then of course, I'm just going to fast forward to November. And what I want to point out to you is that at that time, the Saturn Jupiter trine is
Mm-hmm.
exactly on top of your sun and moon. So
Mm.
think about what a massive transit that is. And
Yeah.
specifically that you're doing ayahuasca, right? That for me is totally Pisces because you're
Mm.
traveling to different states of consciousness and exploring, I guess, even yourself from a whole new perspective because ayahuasca really opens you up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that made you realize that you want to do something
Uh,
spiritual instead.
yeah. Do something spiritual. Yes.
And what is that? Like, how has that idea evolved for you into now?
So I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in a perfect world, I would have there's an area in Ghana called like the Volta region, and it has the largest man-made lake in the whole world. Beautiful, surrounded by mountains. I would get 25 acres of land and build like an eco retreat where I could have like different retreats and teach people about indigenous cultures, have that center there, and then start up, once that's established, start up my travel company where we go to different places around the world and learn about different cultures and how indigenous people experience spirituality and culture at the same time. That would be my big goal.
Okay. But where are you with that goal currently?
Well, right now I'm trying to save up the money to get the
Mm-hmm.
land. Um, so right now, because do I feel like I can't do any of that stuff right now. So I've been filling my time with learning astrology and I've just been getting into Reiki and just learning more about spiritual practices and astrology. And then once I get my money up, I can purchase the land, I can do all the things I want to do.
Okay. Um, so you're saving money for now.
Yeah.
But you have this amazing idea about where to go. You've scouted the place. You kind of have like you have this opening. So you're kind of inspired, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, if we just go to your chart, and I want to point out again the exact trine between your sun and moon in
Mhm.
Pisces and Cancer, and you're looking for land that is on the biggest man-made lake. You said in the world or in the continent of Africa?
I'm not sure if it's in Africa or in the world, one or the other.
Okay. right? So there I feel the sun moon in the water signs, right? And especially the
Yes.
Jupiter is now conjunct your moon, makes me think because you have this idea, you know what's next. You feel like, yeah, you want to stay there. And Saturn, even though he's just entered your third house, you'll notice he's going to retrograde back into the second.
Mm,
That for me, and he's like very close to your sun still. And that makes me think about how at this time you're saving up money
hmm
in order to get enough so that you can. So how long do you think that's going to take you? Like next year or a few years from now?
Um, it, well, my husband just got a huge contract, so if all goes well by the end of the year, I should have enough money.
Okay,
'Cause
exactly.
I'm not
Because
working, so
okay, look, Saturn is going to station in your second house in December of 26, and he's going to leave your house in January. Right?
Mm,
So that makes me think about this period where you guys are saving money, and then you
mhm.
think maybe by the end of the year something's going to move. Does that make sense when you
Mm,
see it that way?
yeah,
Okay, very good. So I think end of the year sounds like a good timeline.
yeah,
You said your husband just got a big contract. With what? What
yeah.
does he do?
So he's working on reconstructing a historic site in our area, and so he just got
Aha.
awarded. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's very clear in your chart. Um, on multiple levels. Okay, look first of all, the Jupiter is exactly conjunct your moon in the seventh house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so your partner just got a big contract. And what is he doing? He's doing moon in Cancer. He's restoring an area. Now,
Yeah.
when it's about the historical area, there we have the Uranus Neptune opposition in Capricorn, right? Something
Mm,
historical, something old. Yeah, so
mm-hmm.
there's the Jupiter with the moon opposing the Uranus and Neptune. Okay. The second part, again, when Jupiter conjoins your moon, he also trines your sun in the second house. So, this restoration project that your husband's just gotten a contract for is increasing the funding
Mm,
significantly. Yeah?
mm-hmm.
And therefore, I
Yeah.
guess you can start to plan about the future and what are you going to do and how are you going to. So, I'm feeling that energy is happening right now.
Yeah.
Um, when does he begin?
They're doing the sword cutting June 6th,
What does
and
that mean?
it's
We're cutting.
oh, sorry. So that means like the commencement of the project is going to be June 6th.
Okay, and then he's going to be working on that, I guess, at least for the next year.
I'm thinking like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's
It
receiving a
might
lot of.
Oh,
Go
one
ahead.
thing is it's in different phases. So I think the first phase is 6 months and then the subsequent phase can be longer. I don't know how long the subsequent phases will be.
Okay. And obviously he's not doing this alone. This is like he's working with an organization.
He created his own company. So he's the main contractor and then he has a team of builders.
Okay, but he has to work with the local community as well, or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I guess that means there's a lot of like he's pretty busy on the phone. There's always someone calling, like new plans are
Yeah.
being you're talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Saturn is conjunct your Mercury in the third house Aries and will be for the rest of this year. Right. And so I immediately feel like, okay, so like there's a lot of talking going on. You have to figure out a lot of there's a lot of planning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. And I asked about the organizational part because you can see that when Saturn is like he's approaching an exact sextile to your natal Saturn in Aquarius. So I felt like, okay, yeah, they're working, but it's he has to work on a team.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you in all of that?
I'm on the sidelines learning my astrology and doing my spiritual practices. I'm also early days pregnant, so I'm just trying to lay low
Oh,
and not be sick.
early days. Okay, so look, Jupiter conjunct your moon, right? A pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that this child is conceived during the time that your husband is restoring a historic site. I don't know, I just see a connection there with
Hmm.
the child. Um, you started studying last year, you said.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does that entail? What are your studies like?
So I'm taking a course with Heather Astrology. I forget her name. But it's a course that you can. It's kind of self-paced. You can take a year to 2 years do that course. Right now, I just finished transits and rulerships. So that's where I am right now, level 3. So I'm hoping to finish it either by the end of the year or early next year.
Okay, so you can see Saturn is conjoined your Mercury in the third,
Hmm.
right? That you're studying every day. That's kind of your big task. You're trying to learn, you're doing the homework, you're taking the lessons, it's self-paced, right? But you're becoming competent or trying to.
Yeah.
Saturn, Mercury. And you know, for me that you just finished transits, Jupiter conjunct your moon, the moon being the ruler of transits, because she's the one to
Mm,
move the quickest.
interesting.
Okay. When did you finish that?
With the transits,
Well, just yeah, the last kind of
I
module.
mean the last module I looked at I think 2 days ago. That was
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, because the sun changed signs 2 days ago, right? The sun moved
Mm,
into Gemini. And so for me,
hmm.
that's like, okay, you finished and now you move on to the next.
Hmm.
Okay, good. So you're studying astrology. And would you like to be an astrologer?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I'm still kind of tripped up because I can't really read a datal chart the way I want to. Like, is I get the bits and pieces, but I can't put things together yet. So I'm still working on it.
Right. Yeah, totally makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. And how old is your current kid?
She's 2 years old,
Oh,
two and a
she's
half.
little as well. She's very little.
Yeah.
So, and how's that?
I
You-
mean, dealing with a toddler is
I see.
constantly
She has
cleaning up
tantrums.
after
She's not listening, right? She's kind of
Yeah, she's a Leo, so she's kind of rebellious.
because I'm feeling now as soon as you said that, I'm like, okay, again, Saturn conjuncture Mercury in Aries.
Yep. Yep.
Can you give just a couple stories that illustrate a little bit of the like your day to day?
Okay, so we'll wake up in the morning. I'll tell her, "Look, let's go and pee pee," and then she'll run around the room until I grab her and I put her on the toilet seat. And then it's time to feed her, and she's still running around. So it's just a game of cat and mouse every day. So I take her the
Mm-hmm.
majority of the day, and then in the evenings I'll take her to her grandma's house, and then that's when I get time to study my astrology or my spiritual practices, whatever I want to do for the day, and use that time to clean. And so my day is pretty much filled with taking care of my daughter, and then whatever 2-3 hours I have remaining, doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give me just a second. I'm gonna move locations.
Hmm. And I think one of the questions that I also have, right, aside from like, what am I really meant to do, is how do I deal with this? I see a few challenging aspects in my chart, which is the Saturn Mars conjunction, and then also this Jupiter retrograde opposition Venus.
Mm,
Those are the two.
you don't. You just understand what they represent and how they materialize.
Okay.
Yeah, the chart is something that you engage with again and again, and you start to understand that in fact, this is what can I even call it? It's like you don't make any decisions. You never chose a single thing you did in life. You were always just expressing the transits one to one. You never moved away from the chart. And so, people ask that question, and it's a very fair question because we want to improve in the way that we face and approach challenges, but there's no such thing. In astrology, we just learn what are the challenges, and we notice when they repeat, and we kind of smile to ourselves, understanding, oh yeah, there's that part of my chart again. And that is actually what helps you deal with it. And that's actually the whole purpose of engaging with astrology, is to become enlightened. It is to
Mm-hmm.
achieve spiritual mastery and peace, ultimately, by understanding there's, in fact, cosmic law, spiritual architecture that precedes everything that we do. Yeah. So, well, that would be my
Interesting.
answer. Someone else might tell you something else, but that would be my answer.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And
Definitely.
that's why I do it like this. Like, we're just talking about what's happening and I'm pointing it out to
Mhm.
you because we're making a
Yeah.
puzzle. It's a puzzle. Like, life is a puzzle. There's so much going on. There's so many different things in different places, and we're organizing all of them just to fit
Mhm.
ourselves into that cosmic chasm. And so again, like when you tell me about your daughter, and it's that is what's amazing, is when we illustrate with storytelling, because it's
Mhm.
again your Mercury in Aries, right? You said it's a game
Yeah.
of cat and mouse. You're chasing her around. There's probably yelling. You're like, ah, it's so much Aries, and Saturn on top of it. Right, and
Mhm.
that's you struggling kind of to just deal with the situation with how she is, because toddlers are crazy, of course. So that's
Yeah.
the period you're in. But then we know, for example, when you ask about, so how can I improve? Well, what I would tell you is that, look, Saturn's going to make the final conjunction to Mercury around January. So probably after that, she's going to get better,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Because Saturn's going to move
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Wow.
And same with that, like even just think about the timeline that you gave. You think probably by end of year, you'll manage to finish up the course, right? So again, look, Saturn makes the last conjunction to Mercury around January, February of 27.
Mhm.
And then he
Mhm.
moves along, right? And so
Yeah.
imagine you're done with that course. You're done with the
Yeah.
modules. The same with
Mhm.
your husband, right? Because we talked about how, okay, now he's got this project, right? There's the first phase of doing the restoration, right? So
Mhm.
he's going to be very busy with that. Saturn's going to make the final conjunction around February, and he's going to be done, move on to something else, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
It does feel like in 27 you start to work on your home. Maybe you're like buying
Mm.
the land, and then you have to do, and I'll explain what, if, I never know, but it's just when you give me some hints about what you're expecting, and then so I look for confirmation. The confirmation is sometimes about something totally different, right? We only really find out the truth when it's happening. But you can see
Mm.
that from May of 27, but even before, like as soon as Saturn stations, which is going to be like in November, he starts to move towards a square with your moon. That's kind of the
Mm.
next, right, from Aries to Cancer. So if you think about Aries, the hard work, establishing things, building things, talking to people, working with the neighbors, trying to get the things signed that you need, right, for the land, the
Mhm.
moon. And
Mm.
it also makes me think you're going to be welcoming a new baby. So
Yeah.
think about that. Saturn and Aries squaring your moon in Cancer. There's a new person coming into the family now. You have to adjust. Your daughter will have to adjust.
Mhm.
Right? You as parents will have to adjust. Your routine's going to have to change. Saturn
Yep.
square the moon with the second baby. Right? So that
Wow.
so you see how I'm just using information you've given me, and I'm seeing
Mhm.
ahead what are the things that could possibly happen. And then I'm just using the planets as like a placeholder for that.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
You said there's grandma involved. Grandma's helping.
Yeah. So my husband's mother, she takes care of a lot of her children's. She takes a lot of care of a lot of her grandchildren. So there are a lot of grandchildren at the house already. So during the nights and weekends, we just push her there so that she can be with all her cousins.
Hmm. Okay, I see. Mm. Was she born in Ghana?
She was born in the US in Arizona.
Okay, right. You guys just emigrated.
Yeah. So when she was Okay, so my story is I've been going back and forth to Ghana, between Ghana and the US for about 10 years now. When I got pregnant, I moved back to the US with my mom so that I could give birth. And then when my daughter was 6 months old, we finally made the permanent move to Ghana.
Uh-huh. Okay, and so now, like now that you've been in Ghana, currently I get because and I'm just looking at Jupiter to your moon at this point.
Hmm.
Because I'm thinking, okay, so there's grandma's helping a lot. That must be beautiful for the family, Jupiter moon. Also, your
Hmm.
daughter's going and hanging out with her cousins. That's amazing. She's bonding, she's getting close, she's making memories. Jupiter to the
Hmm.
moon, right? You're in Ghana, you're actually fully there, you're connecting with your heritage, I guess. Jupiter to the
Yeah.
moon.
Mm. Wow. Interesting.
Are you spending lots of time, like family time, like more than ever?
I wouldn't say that. I've been spending a lot of time at home.
You
Not necessarily.
personally.
Yeah, like I'm just home. I
Uh-huh.
mean, my
Okay.
husband's here, my
I
dog
s-
is
and
here.
w- were you not home before?
Um, I've I've been home, but I was more focused on work. Like I worked from home. Yeah, I guess I've been home, but like it's now that I don't have a job, like I'm just focusing on my personal space rather than work, I guess.
Okay. Do you see that again? Jupiter to the moon?
Mm-hmm.
You're focusing on your personal space, on
Yeah,
yourself. You're going inward.
yeah.
You're focused on your house. You have this time to really be with the house.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Do you do it? You said you like to clean, I heard.
Yeah, I clean every day. I focus on astrology. I focus on my spiritual practices. That's mostly what I do.
Hmm. Is there anything changing about the house itself as well? Like you're getting new furniture, new bedding, new sheets, maybe updating something, like kitchen is changing, something, anything.
Well, we plan on once we get money for the contract, we want to do like a grand sweep, like a remodeling of the house, I guess. Not remodeling, but fixing it up.
And that's gonna happen.
Mm, I can't really say in the upcoming months, but I don't know.
Okay, but you're kind of already planning for that, and you're seeing it, you're talking about it, you're organizing
Yeah.
the spaces, how it's gonna be. You're kind of living
Hmm.
already in the new nest.
Yeah.
Okay,
Especially because a new baby is coming, so we need to do it before that
Jupiter
happens.
to the moon,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that gonna be a big cost? Is there gonna be a lot of changes?
Yeah. I'm planning. I mean, yeah, I'm planning for like 8 to 10 grand. Like whatever needs to be done is gonna be done.
8 to 10 grand. Can you just give an example of a few of the things you'd like to do?
So I want to hire like a group of people to do like a deep cleaning of the house. We're gonna repaint. We're gonna patch up the walls. We're gonna do outside maintenance. And then fix whatever is broken in the house. So like a complete makeover.
Okay, yeah, very Jupiter moon, right? The whole house is
Mhm.
getting its big love. And
Yeah.
by the way, those kinds of things you only do every once in a long time, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Would you have to take out loans for that as well? Or it's
No. It would be whatever my husband makes from this contract.
okay, so it feels like there's a lot of like money just kind of moving like at this period.
Yeah.
Would you say it's more than usual? Like it's just kind of woo, 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 woo?
Yeah, we've been struggling for a while, so this is like a big income boom for us.
Were you struggling for the past, let's say, 3 years?
3 years. Um, yeah, I mean, money's been kind of tight for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, because Saturn was transiting your second,
Mm.
at least in the Placidus system that I'm using, right? He was
Mhm.
transit like literally the entire time for the last 3 years. And
Interesting.
the other thing now is like, well, I just put up a few planets. The one I want to point out is that Uranus
Hmm.
is making a very close square to your Venus from the fourth to the second. And so that's also where I see like the money for the repairs, but also the money that's coming from your husband. It's like this contract that is suddenly changing your financial situation. I guess you're also like yourself feeling like, whoa, look at this money. I can do this, 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 this.
Yeah.
Do you have any caution about like between you and your husband? Do you guys is there one of you that's like, okay, let's slow down, like let's not move too fast?
Yeah, that's me. Like he is more, I guess, generous with his spending, and I'm very like, you need to hold on to it.
He's more generous.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of tight fisted.
Are you?
Yeah.
Hmm. And why? Or what does that mean, tight-fisted?
Like, I try to save as much money. I'm kind of afraid to spend. So even if it's something that I really want, like I'll think about it 3 times before I spend. I guess it's a scarcity mindset, but I've always been like that since I was a child.
That makes
Like
me think
even
about
I was gonna
hard.
say even when I was a kid, like if I saw a toy and I thought it was too expensive, I wouldn't even ask for it. Like just out of my
Oh,
own volition.
that's interesting. I'd have to think about that. But the first thing that happens for me is the Mars Saturn.
Yeah.
Because I see someone being like very cautious and yeah, not big. You know what? What about getting along with people, like fitting into society, having friends,
I mean,
belonging?
I don't have a lot of friends. I'm really self-contained. I mean, I get along with people and it's great, but like I don't have a big social circle. I have like two close friends. I talk to them every now and then and I'm good.
Uh-huh. I see. Okay, so you prefer to be with people that are close to you and that you know, like your family,
Hmm.
your husband, your kids.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, that makes me think about the moon in your seventh house, Cancer, and those are the people you're relating to as primarily family. And I guess also your friends, but friends that you've had for a long time that you feel
Yeah.
close to or connected to.
Hmm.
Do they live back in the US?
Yeah, they do.
Hmm. Okay. How do you like with this so with the spirituality, what is how did that
Like
what
what's
is
the
the
genesis?
meaning for you? Huh?
Oh, what is the meaning for me?
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel that source is all there is, right? And we're all made from source. So it's that remembering, right? How do we remember like our true nature? And so especially during the ayahuasca experience, I did realize that like a lot of reality is not reality.
Mm,
But also like how do I connect others so that they can also remember like the true nature of source of self, you know.
So you want to give that to people.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where does that fit in with your other ideas for projects like the eco village and the indigenous practices?
Yeah. So with the Echo Village, like I want to have I want it to be kind of like a place that people can come. We can do retreats. We can do like workshops and exercises where maybe I bring in guest speakers or, um, people that are indigenous shamans or something like that so that people can learn about traditional spiritual practices. Because I feel like the older practices were more closer to what's really real than religion. And so I would like to bring in people so that others can learn about it. Also, the nature part, like I want people to connect with the land and connect with the soil, because I mean that's part of source. With the group travel, like I would love to travel to like different African countries that also have different spiritual practices and lineages, South America, so that people can learn about what other indigenous people also believe. So that's kind of how I see it, is that I'll create a home base for myself where people can come in and learn. But then also, I want to create travel groups where we're not just learning from one specific viewpoint, but different viewpoints around the world about what spirituality means and what connecting to nature really means.
Okay. So the one part of this for me is the Mars Saturn in Aquarius because of
Hmm.
working with groups, like bringing people together. And also, like, imagine when you organize a trip for a number of people. Like, that's not something that's very simple because you have to figure out visas, you have to figure out times, schedules, where you're going to go. There's a lot of planning and organization, plus working and
Hmm.
organizing with the communities that you will be visiting. So it's all very planned.
Hmm.
Right, that's the sense I'm getting. And so then I feel the Mars, Saturn, Aquarius very much,
Mm. Hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
but then okay, so that's that part of it. Then there's the other part of it. It's like connecting with people and understanding like where they come from, the language they speak, and how do they cook food, and how do they live, and how do they naturally build, right? So there I'm feeling all the moon in Cancer together with the
Mm.
sun in Pisces, because you're doing it from cultures all around the world once again, right? And so
Yeah.
it's not like you're just about Ghana, for example, right?
Mhm.
It would be the person from here and from this continent, from this country, and from this region, this language. And so there I'm feeling the variety of Pisces and the open-mindedness of Pisces.
Mhm.
So this is the four that I'm feeling in your project. And then the eco village itself, like obviously when you do that, establishing something like that takes time, it takes patience, it takes materials, it takes
Mhm.
like being with the seasons, right? You can only do things at certain times. You have to build. That for me is all this also your Capricorn rising very much. But this is
Mm.
kind of big ideas, help people really connect with nature, Capricorn.
Mhm.
And also like the other thing that comes to mind is living a more natural life where things are like not so easily accessible, let's say, and you do have to put some work into them, and you do need to like slow down and move with the season. That part's coming up for me as well with the Capricorn rising.
Mm.
Does all of that sound right?
Yeah, it does. It really does.
The other thing, because you said you were moving frequently between Ghana and the US,
Hmm.
so those are your two homes,
Yeah.
but your mom still lives in the US.
Yeah.
But your mom is
She's
from Ghana, or?
yes. And she's gonna retire in Ghana, I think within the next 2 years or so.
So your mom would
So
also
she.
come to Ghana.
Hmm.
I'm getting an insight about something. First, I just want to say, like, the moving between the two countries, I'm again feeling like moon in Cancer with the sun in Pisces,
Hmm.
because you're crossing overseas, but you have two homes, ostensibly.
Yeah.
I guess
Hmm.
you feel at home in Ghana, you feel at home in, was it Arizona last for you?
Yeah. Arizona. Yeah.
Was it in northern Arizona?
No, it's like 30 minutes from Phoenix.
Okay. My mom also lives 30 minutes from Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
And you know, the reason I ask that kind of surprised me is because your chart has so much water
Uh-huh.
and air and earth. And so I was thinking, well, what would she be doing in Phoenix that is such a fire place?
I mean, I don't like it, but it's where my mom lives. So, I mean, I love green, I love water, but I mean,
Okay, good. Okay, got it. I understood. Okay, here's the insight that I had gotten.
Okay.
It's about Saturn again, and I'm going to fast forward to April of 28, I guess. Because you can see that's when Saturn is entering Taurus,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's going to conjoin your, like, I see the cusp of your fourth house. He's going to enter your fourth house in an earth sign. That
Amazing.
to me feels like the eco village and also mom coming to retire.
Okay.
Does that make
One sec.
sense?
1 second.
Okay.
First, quick question. Am I
Okay.
supposed to be seeing your screen?
Are you not seeing my screen this whole time?
No.
Are you kidding me?
I'm so sorry. I was trying to follow along just by imagining the placements.
Girl, but it says I'm sharing my screen.
It says picture and pictures open because you're screen sharing.
How about now?
I can see it now. Okay. Now I'm following. Go ahead.
No, Lord, how
No,
could
but
that
I was
be?
able to follow everything, so it's fine. I was able to follow it.
Okay, it's just so different when there's the visual. The visual makes it all amazing. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But can you go back to the last point you were trying to make?
Yeah, I have it up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you can see Saturn is going to enter Taurus around April of 28, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's going to move into your fourth house
Mm-hmm.
in Taurus. And that to me feels like the eco village. And that to me also feels like your mom coming to retire.
Hmm.
Because you said it's going to happen within the next 2 years, right? So
Yeah.
Saturn, retirement, old age, and the mother
Mm-hmm.
coming home to Ghana, the fourth house.
Wow. Wow.
And here I also feel like, working with nature. When you construct an
Mm-hmm.
eco-ville, that's a lot of work to work the
Yeah.
land, to dig the
Yeah.
stuff, to build the thing, to establish the base, essentially. So
Yeah.
that to me feels
And
like base establishment. I could be wrong about the timing. I'm just telling you what comes up, right?
that's
So,
awesome. And I also wanted to have workshops on permaculture and like eco building. That's all part of it. So
there
yeah.
you go, right? And so that tells me you're going to be working again with groups of people, right? You're going to be inviting them, you're going to be teaching them,
Yeah.
having them stay somewhere, I guess, organizing their visit,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So there again, I feel the Mars, Saturn, Aquarius being squared at that time by Saturn and Taurus.
Hmm. Wow.
Okay, do you see how different the visual is?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yes,
much different. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm so sorry. That's okay. I mean, that's just what it was. What can we do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm learning a lot because I thought, squares were always like challenging, but now I can see that it is beneficial in ways as well.
Well, here's one thing that comes up. Imagine the people are coming and they don't know the
Mm-hmm.
rules and they're kind of trampling around and you have to tell them like, no, or right. So there are some challenges. You have to figure out where they stay. They have some issues. They're not very comfortable. Maybe they want to leave right? There I feel the
Mm-hmm.
square more starting, right? Because we don't know
Gotcha.
until you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Mm-hmm.
there's all kinds of situations that come up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
Great. Okay, so let's go back to now. No, so let's just go back to Jupiter and the moon, just so that you see the Jupiter is literally exactly conjunct your moon, right?
When is that?
Right
That's
now.
May. Oh,
Today,
interesting.
yesterday, this week,
Okay.
last week, this month, right? Because we were talking about, the house fixing, you're pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
daughter's going to cut, husband's got a big contract, he's doing a big restoration, right, of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there I was feeling the Jupiter moon. There's
Yeah.
so much water at the moment for you.
Hmm. Interesting.
Do you guys go by is there like a big body of water near you, or do you bathe a lot? Do you mop the floors every day and like as a spiritual practice?
Mop the floors every day, bathe with a bucket and with water. So aside from my husband doing this renovation, but there's another site where he's building a warehouse and some offices. And so eventually we want to acquire more land around there so that we can do like the eco village, I want to call it eco natives. We want to have a version of the eco natives project here in Wa. And so there's a big dam where he is building the warehouse. And so I want to do a version of the eco natives there, aside from, the largest man-made lake in the Volta region. So
Uh-huh.
that's close to where we are too.
Okay, the dam, right? So one of the big conversations with your husband every day with what's happening at that site, right? At the dam.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
that he's building like housing, right? Jupiter to
Hmm.
the moon in Cancer.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I guess he's working with other contractors,
Yeah.
right? Saturn conjunct Mercury in Aries, a new construction project.
Hmm.
Right, so I can imagine like having to call different contractors and somebody's not coming, they don't show up for work. Oh my God, we should have got this done
Yeah.
by today. Okay, now we have to wait. Oh no, we have to wait to hear from this person. They're not answering. How can we get in touch with
What's
them? We can't
happening?
reach. I mean, it's so
Mm,
simple, right? Because Saturn's conjunct Mercury and Aries in the third. So you just once the mind starts, it's like can find so many patterns.
wow. Interesting. It's funny how you can see all that just from my chart, not his.
Yeah, because everything that you witness is in your chart because your reality is not just you, right? Your reality is you and everything that happens to you, all the people you talk to, all the thoughts that you're having, the emotions that you're feeling, the things that you see, right? That's your whole totality, and
Yeah.
that's what the chart is revealing or reflecting, is
Mm,
all of it, right? Not just
gotcha.
the persona, all of it, all the situations.
Wow. Awesome.
And there again, right? Saturn to Mercury, right? Doing all the
Hmm.
modules.
Hmm.
Do you sometimes feel like you don't get it, or you like, oh, I wish I could work more easily, but
Yeah. Like, wait, are you talking about in terms of what he's doing, or in terms of what I'm doing?
well, both, but in this case, in terms of what you're doing.
Yeah. Like sometimes I get frustrated with like astrology because it's like I see the pieces, but how to fit things together, and I get frustrated. And I'm like, how come I'm not learning this faster? So I do get frustrated.
Is Saturn conjuncture Mercury exact in Aries? I'm getting
Mm.
frustrated. Why don't I learn this faster? I see the
Mm-hmm.
pieces, but I can't put them together. Saturn, Mercury, Aries, third house.
Yeah. Interesting. Hmm.
Or I guess also with your husband, communication can be more strained, I guess, because he's busy and he's taking calls. And so maybe sometimes you have to just handle like your
Mm-hmm.
daughter by yourself. And it's like, oh, help me, talk to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
That's so true. Wow.
Yeah, and not knowing like, maybe she's screaming and you don't know how to help her, what she's asking for. Can you use words? No, I can't. I'm too.
Yeah, like she'll be talking gibberish and it's like, what did you say? And then, yeah, it's so
And then
true.
if you don't catch it, she's freaking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again,
Hmm.
Saturn, Mercury, Aries, third house,
Yeah,
right? Figuring
yeah,
out that language of movement, language of like, wow.
exactly, exactly. So,
Yeah,
in your opinion, like the things that I have in my head as to what I want to do you see it being aligned with my chart, or is there
100%.
something that I'm missing? Okay.
100%. And you know what? I'm Yeah, because you asked, you're bringing me back to your moon being opposite Uranus and Neptune on your ascendant in Capricorn. Now that I understand your husband is like building the stuff that is going to, I guess, outlast both of you, and you want to design an eco village. So you guys are creating the places where the collective meets. And
Yeah.
there I feel the Uranus Neptune on your ascendant, right? You're the one to live that life, to bring
Yeah.
people into nature, for
Yeah.
instance, right?
Hmm.
And so there I feel how your husband is also, right? Because the seventh house and the moon is your spouse.
Yeah.
And so your spouse is building even those things.
Wow. This is so interesting.
I know, astrology is actually very simple, isn't it? Once you kind of see how to move around it,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally just storytelling and matching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting the pieces together.
Look, the transiting moon is conjuncture Jupiter right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's the conversation we're having. Because I'm pointing out to you, how I do it. Here's this. So that's the Virgo, right? Virgo's ruled by Mercury. So understanding the logic behind thing. Well, look, Jupiter's here, Saturn's here, therefore this.
Mm-hmm.
And the moon is conjunct Jupiter and Virgo now, right? So we're doing this right now, not yesterday, not 3 days ago, now.
Wow. You can't make this up.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's pause there for today.
Okay.
So what do you think? What are you left with?
I am left with the feeling that I'm on the right track, that nothing is happening by accident. Um, and I'm also left with the feeling that, like, once I understand astrology more in depth, everything that's happening for me, I will be able to see it in the chart. And that's really reassuring.
Exactly.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. So I also wanted to ask you, like, how did you learn? Like, what was your process of learning astrology?
Okay. This is very important. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop reading books and watching videos. But sorry, this is just my opinion. Okay, so just take it how. What you really have to do is work with your transits, and I don't mean like reading what the app is telling you the transit means. I mean, you reflect on what just happened in the past hour in my
Mm-hmm.
life, and you match it with the transits, and you do that
Mm.
again and again, and it's just the same practice over and over again. And when you do that, you will access a very different state of consciousness that is not unsimilar to ayahuasca, because you will
Wow.
see that in fact everything you're experiencing in the day is reflected by the chart, and then the mind has to grapple with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is how I learned, because before that I took classes, I had private tutors, I read books, I watched videos, and nothing. Like I was spending money, I was so frustrated that it just wasn't making sense, and I felt that
Mm-hmm.
I was the stupid one that like wasn't getting it. And then suddenly one day I woke up and I had this idea to begin journaling about my transits. It just seemed like a fun idea. Little did I know that I was about to figure out astrology.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. I mean, it's really simple, but it does, you have to go through and yeah, and do it.
That is so interesting. Is there a reason why you use Placidus versus any other system?
I have a lot of confirmation because
Mm.
I've been doing this for a long time, and so I experience it in many different levels, and it just works. I don't know. I'm
Wow.
not into math. I never really
Mhm.
got into the philosophy of the house systems. It was just a feeling, and I went with it. And it was confirmed. And I struggled for a while between Placidus and whole sign, and I was questioning myself, but then, well, that was a while ago already. I don't know. I don't feel that now.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like you looked at the real data and the proof, and that was your confirmation. Okay.
It's exactly the real data. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. This has been really enlightening, and I'm so happy that we're able to go through the chart together because you've seen a lot of things that I haven't been able to see. I think I've been using my chart to really study like my inner, what I'm made up of, my inner thoughts and feelings and my inner nature, whereby you've been able to look at the transits and see like what's actually happening in real time.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
you have new data to work with every hour that you're awake because there's new things happening. So there's something new to contemplate and find in the chart.
Jeez. Okay.
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 Okay. I'm going to stop recording and then I just want to talk to you for another minute. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're signing out with Brigette. All right.